Alright everyone, I'm going to do part 2 of my Columbia TriStar VHS Collection 2020 edition, in which I'm going to show you the Columbia TriStar home video titles. I got 7 clamshells and 38 slipcovers to show you all. We're going to get started. Before I do, I want to talk to you about 3 Ninjas Hiding on Mega Mountain. It was a demo copy, so I have to exclude it and discern it from my VHS rack. And there's also a VHS I forgot to show you in the previous part, which I'm going to show it to you right now. And it's a 1990 VHS of Family Business with Sean Connery, Dustin Hoffman, and Matthew Broderick. I got this VHS like from Goodwill. A terrific trio of actors. Sean Connery is terrific, Dustin Hoffman is brilliant, and Matthew Broderick is wonderful. So it's Dennis Cunningham, WCBS TV. What could go wrong? What doesn't go wrong? And it's based upon a novel by Vincent Patrick. Rated R is 113 minutes. And here's what it looks like for Family Business. Printed on the 27th week of 1991, even though it's a 1990 VHS. And now for some part 2 VHS tapes. There. First tape I have for part 2 is a 1990 VHS. First tape I have for part 2 is a 1999 VHS of The Adventures of Elmo Grouchland. Elmo in his first movie. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. This is the only Sesame Street tape I have. Join Elmo in his biggest adventure yet. Co-starring Vanessa Williams and Manny Patinkin. I used to own this tape when I was little, but Mom had to get rid of this since I grew out of the film, so I had to get a new copy from Faith Farm. Rated G, and it's 77 minutes. It was written by Mitchell Craigman, who also created Bear in the Big Blue House and The Book of Pooh. It was also based on Sesame Street by Joan Gans Cooney and Lloyd Morissette. And rest in peace, Carl Spinney, the voice of Bigfoot, and Oscar the Grouch. And Kevin Clash used to be the voice of Elmo. Now I don't know who is currently the voice of him. And here's what the tape looks like for The Adventures of Elmo Grouchland. No week in your code. Tape still looks fine. There you go. There you go. Next tape I have, I also got this tape from Goodwill. It's the 1995 VHS of The Indian in the Cupboard. It was based on a book by Lynn Reed Banks, and this VHS clamshell has nothing to read on the front or the back, so I need to get a better VHS clamshell than this one. So here's what the tape looks like for The Indian Cupboard. Rated PG, it's 98 minutes, and it's printed on the 48th week of 1995. Next tape I have is the 1996 VHS of Jumanji with Robin Williams. An exciting, thrilling adventure the whole family loves his Barry Kruchnick Premier Radio Network. I got this VHS, I first showed you this VHS, my VHS collection, back when I started my YouTube account. An adventure ride for the entire family edge of your sea excitements is Jim Ferguson Preview Channel. Also co-starring Bonnie Hunt, Kirsten Dunst, and Bradley Pierce. And it's also based on a book by Chris Van Allsburg. Rated PG, and it's 104 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Jumanji, and it was printed on the 11th week of 1996. Whoop! Sorry. Next tape I have, we've got the 1996 VHS of Matilda. Matilda is a family classic for all generations says Alan Silverman, Voice of America, from the author of James and the Giant Peach and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Starring Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, and Bette Davis, Pam Ferris, and Mara Wilson. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Incredibly fun and a great movie for all ages, says Leo Forno's KIS FM. It was based on the book, a great comedy with a great message. The adults laugh as much if not more than the kids. This Elaine Blipp Film Advisory Award, and it's based on a book by Roald Dahl, rated PG, and it's 98 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Matilda, put on the 41st week of 1996. Next tape I have is a 1999 VHS of Muppets from Space. Space, it's not as deep as you think. The Magic's back, says Robin Rosie, LA Times. I got this VHS off of eBay. UFO Mania. This movie stars Jeffrey Tambor, was also co-starring Andy McDowell, Ray Liotta, and David Arquette. A great movie for the whole family, says Sandy Dune, CBS, KTVT, Dallas. And this movie is also based on the characters by Jim Henson, Ray G, and it's 88 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like from Muppets from Space, put on the 40th week of 1999. Next tape I have is the 1996 VHS of Riverdance the Show, the hottest event on 160 legs, featuring the original Dublin production, live from the Point there, Dublin, Ireland. Composed by Bill Whelan, produced by Moya Doherty, and directed by John McCullen. The music and dance sensation of the decade, starring Michael Flatley with June Butler and Maria Pages, and Anna. I got this VHS from Fate Farm. And let's see what the fourth show is. Let's see what the fourth performance is pronounced like. Alright, sorry, I had to let my phone pronounce the fourth show before I pronounce it for me. Pronounce the fourth show for me before I pronounce it the right way. Show performances consist of Real Rum the Sun, The Heart's Cry, The Countess Kathleen, Grouchland by Davy Spillane, Distant Thunder, Fire Dance, Riverdance, Left the Weeks, Freedom, The Russian Dervish, Harlan, and Riverdance International. It was like nothing else I have ever seen. Words cannot describe it. The speed and coordination took my breath away. This is Charles Hawley, former Irish premier. Not rated at 71 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Riverdance the Show, and it was printed on the 37th week of 1996. Last time show I have is in 2000 VHS of Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Thomas in his first movie with Peter Fonda, Mara Wilson, and Alec Baldwin. Little engines can do big things. I got this VHS from off of eBay. Thomas is a magical family experience in San Diego Union Tribune, Niagara. And it was based on Thomas and Friends by Britt Alcroft, and also the Railway series by Wilbur Audrey. Rated G, it's 84 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Thomas and the Magic Railroad, and was put on the 42nd week of 2000. And now for some slipcovers. First one is the 1997 VHS of Air Force One, with Harrison Air Force One with Harrison Ford. Breathtaking gripping, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat entertainment and Spirit Travelers Rolling Stone. I got this VHS. From got this VHS at Thief from Faith Farm. A fast-paced red blood action movie to stand miles in the New York Times. Co-starring Gary Oldman and Glenn Close. Buckle your seatbelts. Air Force One is a wildlife to Steve-O Field Fox TV. Radar, and it's 124 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Air Force One from the second week of 1998, even though it's a 1997 VHS. Next tape I have is a 2000 VHS of Anzio with Robert Mitchum, Pierre Falk, and Alfred Kennedy, shot by the enemy of a battle of courage leads to the momentous victory. I got this VHS from Goodwill. This movie takes place in World War II and it's directed by Edward Simitrick, who also directed The Community and Back to Baton. Rated PG, and it's 117 minutes, and it's from the book by Winfred Vaughn Thomas. And then it's what the tape looks like for Anzio, and it's from the 36th week of 2001, even though it's a 2000 VHS. Next tape I have is a 1998 VHS of Apt Pupil from Ian McKellen and Brad Renfro, from the director of The Usual Suspects and from the author of Misery and The Shining. If you don't believe in the existence of evil, you've got a lot to learn. A blood-chilling, heart-stopping thriller is Dennis Cunningham on CBS TV. I got this VHS for Christmas back in 2019. An ambitious investigation into the nature of evil, says David Anson Newsweek. It's based upon a novel by Stephen King, rated R, and it's 111 minutes. And here's what that tape looks like for Apt Pupil from that 10th week of 1999, even though it's a 1998 VHS. The next tape I have is a 1999 VHS of Baby Geniuses with Kathleen Turner and Christopher Lloyd. It's the live-action Roblox at box office. I got this VHS off of eBay. Baby Geniuses is a kind of like 101 Dalmatians with toddlers instead of puppets. It's Andrew Johnson timeouts. Yet 6 we call Home Alone, Saturday Night Fever, The Three Stooges, and Great Escape. Says Bob Loningo, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Also co-starring Pierre McNicol. And it's rated PG, and it's 95 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Baby Geniuses, and it's got 2 week in year codes, the 44th week of 1999 and the 26th week of 1999. Next tape I have is the 1995 VHS of Bad Boys. What you gonna do? With Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. I got this VHS from Goodwill. For comedy and thrills, Lawrence and Smith are a dream case of Spirit Travelers Rolling Stone. Laughs and explosions of Scary Times in Philadelphia Daily News. Rated R, 119 minutes. Yep. Okay. And here's what the tape looks like for Bad Boys, put on the 44th week of 1995. The TV show Cops also has the same theme song as Bad Boys, so I had to give this movie a watch. And now for the next tape I have, which is 1999 VHS of Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. Nature called, look who answered. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. And this movie also co-stars Dylan Cole Sprouse, who's famous for playing Zack and Cody Martin from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Sweet Life on Deck. Rated PG-13, it's 93 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Big Daddy. And it's put in the 42nd week of 1999. Next tape I have is another action crime movie starring Martin Lawrence. And it's the 2000 VHS, A Blue Streak. He's a cop that's not. Hot soundtrack featuring the hit single Girl's Best Friend Jay-Z. Tyrese featuring Heavy Diesel plus featuring Ja Rule. The Shorties featuring 69 Boys, the Hot Boys featuring Big Timers. I got this VHS from Faith Farm too. 2 thumbs up. This is Roger Ebert and David Poland. Roger Ebert in the movies. Martin Lawrence is from Life from Bad Boys. Luke Wilson is from Home Fries and Battle Rocket. And Lane Mayfield is from Flubber and Encino Man. Rated PG-13, it's 94 minutes. So here's that tip looks like the Blue Streak from the 6th week of 2000. Next tape I have is a 2000 VHS, the Center Stage, Life Doesn't Hold Tryouts. 2 thumbs up. Is Roger Ebert and Roger Ebert in the movies. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Fame for the new millennium is Elizabeth's New USA Today. Also starring Peter Gallagher from American Beauty. Center Stage is full of non-stop energy. It's sexy and just makes you want to get up and dance. As Omar Lenris, Fox TV. Rated PG-13 to 116 minutes. And here's a typical type for Center Stage. It was from the 25th week of 2000. Next tape I have is a 1999 VHS of Cruel Intentions, with Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippe, and Reese Witherspoon. 30% weight, 30% fun, 100% taste. Is George Pinocchio, KBC TV. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. A wild, daring new spin on the classic tale of love and betrayal, since Sarah Edwards, NBC News. It's both Gellar and Philippe are from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Sarah Michelle Gellar is from Scream 2 and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Ryan Philippe is from 54. Selma Blair is from Ken Lardy Waits and Zoe, Doug, and Jack and Jane, and Reese Witherspoon is from Pleasantville and The Man in the Moon. Rated R, it's 97 minutes, and here's what the tape looks like for Cruel Intentions, and was put on the 44th week of 2000, even though it's a 1999 VHS. And now for the next tape I have, which is the 1997 VHS, The Fifth Element, with Bruce Willis. 2 thumbs up to Siskel Liebert. This film is the prime to explode. This is The Rise, is Owen Gleiberman and Entertainment Weekly. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. A jaw-dropping, mind-blowing epic, astonishing, ingenious, exuberantly exciting, and brazenly hilarious is shown later on NBC TV. High voltage punch is Destin Howe, Washington Post. Rated PG-13 to 126 minutes. Features jaw-dropping adventures in Field Light ABC Radio Network. And here's a table site for The Fifth Element. No week in your code. And I've already read the PG-13 rating on there and the 126 minutes on there. Next tape I have is 1994 VHS of Guarding Tess with Shirley MacLaine and Nicolas Cage. Driving Miss Daisy with Tuesdays, USA Today. What? Oh, it goes like this. See? I got this VHS, I think, from Goodwill. A grand mixture of laughter and tears with Blaine and Cage are terrific. This is Gary Franklin, K-Hop TV. Shirley MacLaine and Nicolas Cage starring this delightful comedy about a cantankerous former First Lady and a reluctant bodyguard. Rated PG-13, it's 99 minutes. And here's what a tip looks like for guarding tests put on the 42nd week of 1994. The next tape I have is a 1996 VHS of High School High with John Lovitz from the makers of The Naked Gun. Help! There's a new teacher in the hood. I got this VHS off of eBay. Laugh Out Loud says Jack Matthews in his day. High School High skewers feel good movies like Dangerous Minds and Stand and Deliver. And like True Lies and Deer Hunter. Co-starring Mickey, this movie also stars, co-starring Tia Carey and Mickey Pfeiffer from Clockers, Linda Williams from A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. John Lovitz plays for some very big glasses, Dave Kerr, New York Daily News. Rated PG-13, it's 86 minutes. And here's a typical site for High School High, put on a 10th week of 1997. Next tape I have is a 1992 VHS of Hook with Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, and Bob Hoskins. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Get ready for Adventures. Steven Spielberg has story and over triumphs as Gene Slip to the Today Show. A 10, a film that will entertain generations from now. So Scary Friends and ABC TV. And it's based upon the original stage play and books written by Jan Berry. And rated PG, it's 142 minutes. And here's what tape looks like for Hook. And it's got 2 week in year codes, the 22nd week of 1992 and the 13th week of 1994, even though it's a 1992 VHS. Now I gotta turn to the left and complete this row. Now, after I'm done this row, I'll turn to the right again. Next tape I have is 1998 VHS I Know What You Did Last Summer. More laughs and chills than screams is Gian Wolf's Hollywood. I got this VHS. Yeah, I got this VHS from Goodwill. If you're going to bury the truth, make sure that it stays buried. Starring Jennifer Love Hewitt from The Party of Five, Sarah Michelle Gellar from Scream 2, and Freddie Prinze Jr. and Ryan Phillippe, and Johnny Galecki from The Big Bang Theory. A pure fright machine that scares the hell out of you is a sworn well-known Toronto star. And it's based on a novel by Louis Duncan, rated R, and it's 101 minutes. And here's what it looks like for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and was put on August 10th, 1999, even though it was a 1998 VHS. The next tape I have as the 1997 VHS of Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise, a deliciously smart romantic comedy as David Anson Newsweek, by the Academy Award nominations 1996, including Best Picture, Best Actor, Tom Cruise. I got this VHS from Goodwill. 4 stars as Smart Sexy Comedy, says Joel Layden, NBC TV. 2 thumbs up, says Cisco Liebert. Tom Cruise gets his best performance to date, says Neil Rosen, NY1. A sweetheart of a romantic comedy, says Peter Travers, Rolling Stone. Rated R, and it's 139 minutes. So here's the tape. Looks like a Jerry Maguire put on the 15th week of 1997. Next tape I have is the 1985 VHS of Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, and Aidan Quinn. After the fall from innocence, the legend begins. 1994 Academy Award winner Best Cinematography. I got this VHS from Goodwill. A passionate journey into the darkest secrets of love, betrayal and the unbreakable bonds of blood. It's based on the novel by Jim Harrison. Rated R, and it's 134 minutes. And here's the table site for Legends of the Fall, put on the 32nd week of 1995. Alright. Next tape we have we got the 1993 VHS in the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich, and Reed Russell. Movies don't get more exciting than this. Don't miss this at Joe Siegel ABC TV. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. Yeah, from Faith Farm. Eye popping and heart pounding. Maybe one of the best thrillers ever since Jonah Langfield movie Minutes. One of the finest thrillers you'll ever see. This is Roy Leonard, WGN TV. Rated R, and it's 127 minutes. Here's what it looks like for in the Line of the Fire. Put on the 22nd week of 1994, even though it's a 1993 VHS. Alright. Next tip I have. We got the 2000. Yeah, wait, is that the? Let me look. 2000 VHS of Loser with Jason Biggsman as Savary and Red Kinnear. Hip, witty, and charming with a terrific young cast as Bill Burgley Westwood One Radio. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Minutes of Brace from American Beauty and co-starring Amy Heckerling from Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and also co-starring Dan Aykroyd and Andy Dick. Also got Miss Greg Kinnear and As Good As It Gets. Rated PG-13, it's 95 minutes, so here's the tape looks like for Loser. Put in the 47th week of 2000. Next tape I have, we got the 1993 VHS of Lost in Yonkers with Richard Dreyfuss and Mercedes Rowe. A splendid film has found in Lost in Yonkers as she slipped to NBC TV. Destined to be a classic, touching, funny, winning, playing, and simply brilliant as Neil Ross at WNCM Radio. Why is hysterical and profound, says Rod 3, Los Angeles Magazine. I got this VHS, from Goodwill. 4 stars, the best film of the year since Patrick stole Netflix syndicate. Co-starring Neil Simon and also directed by Martha Coolidge from Rambling Rose. Rated PG is 114 minutes, so here's what the tape looks like for Lost in Yonkers, and it's put on the 44th week of 1993. Give me 1 second. There you go. Next tape I have is the 1998 VHS The Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Whoop. Sorry, I need not to do it all over again. And it was based on the character, based on the character Zorro, created by Johnston McCulley. Great fun. I love this. It's Joel Ziglar One America. This is one crowd pleaser that actually pleases. It's David Hansen Newsweek. Rated PG-13, 137 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for The Mask of Zorro. And it was from the 41st week of 1998. The next tape I have is the 1996 VHS of Maximum Risk with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Natasha Henstridge. The Other Side of Save, a sheer blast of supercharged adrenaline, says Bill Hoffman in the New York Post. I got this VHS, I got this VHS from Goodwill, or before I wanted to. An action-packed, from Goodwill. An action-packed, sexy thrill ride is Alan Silverman Voice of America. That's also interest from Species, and also co-starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. Adventures Van Damme is Bob Ross Tampa Tribune. Rated R to 101 minutes, so here's the tape looks like from Maximum Risk. Printed on the 35th week of 1997. Even though it's a 1996 VHS. Next tape I have is the 1997 VHS of Men in Black with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. Protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe. Got this VHS from Faith Farm, I think. 2 thumbs up. Absolutely hilarious, remarkably clever and hip, says Gene Siskel and Ebert. Also co-starring Rip Torn and Vincent D'Onofrio from The Player, and Linda Fiorentino from The Last Seduction, and Twin Shahal from Wings. Also including Will Smith's music video as a bonus feature. And it's based on the comics by Lowell Cunningham. Rated PG-13. It's 98 minutes. So here's the tape site from Men in Black, and it was put on the 44th week of 1997. And now for the next tape I have, which is the 1996 VHS of Money Trade with Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. Get on or get out of the way. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. Wesley and Woody are back and better than ever, says Robson, Toronto Star. Radar at 110 minutes. And here's what a tape looks like for Money Train. It was from the 31st week of 1996. And now for the next tape I have. Hope you all Your next tape I have is a 1996 VHS of Multiplicity with Michael Keaton and Andy McDowell. Funny Places, Neil Wells, and NY1. Four stars is Jeff Craig's second preview. Forget 4 stars, Multiplicity gets 16 stars. Just Leo 41's KSSFM. And rated PG-13, and it's 117 minutes. So here's the tip looks like Multiplicity. It's got 2 weekend articles, the 39th week of 1996, the 11th week of 1999, even though it's a 1996 VHS. That's it for the back row. Now for the front row, so I have to turn to my right. Next tape I have is a 1999 VHS of the Muppet movie. Brings about by all ages as Newsweek magazine. I got this VHS for Easter. A thoroughly delightful movie since Daily News. You'll be seeing stars like Orson Welles, Steve Martin, and Bob Hope. Rated G, and it's 95 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for the Muppet movie. And it was printed on the 5th week of 2001. Even though it's a 1999 VHS, and it's based on the characters by Jim Henson. Next tape I have is the 1999 VHS of the Muppets Take Manhattan. It's likely a lullaby to Broadway's Time magazine. I also got this VHS for Easter. Miss Piggy is one of the great showbiz creations of our time since the New York Times. It's based on the characters created by Jim Henson. Rated G, and it's 94 minutes. And here's the tape looks like for the Muppets Take Manhattan. And it's put on the 7th week of 2004. Wait. 7th week of 2001. 7th week of 2001, even though it's 1999 VHS. It should, the 7th week, you know, it says 7th week 2004. It's supposed to be a 1999 VHS, but I don't know why. Next tape I have is the 1993. Wait. Yeah. 1993 VHS of Passion Fish with Mary McDonnell and Alfred Woodard and Alfred Woodard. Nominated for 2 Academy Awards, Best Actress Mary McDonnell and Best Screenplay John Sayles. I got this VHS from Goodwill. 2 big thumbs up to Siskel and Ebert. The work of art you have to see is David Dempsey, New York Magazine. Rated R is 135 minutes, and here's what the tape looks like for Passion Fish. It was printed on the 24th week of 1993. Next tape I have is the 2000 VHS of the Patriots with Mel Gibson. 2 of them such as Roger Ebert and Joyce Coy. Roger Ebert in movies. I got this VHS. Yeah, I got this VHS at the beginning of 2018. Gabriel, Heath Ledger and stars Heath Ledger, also co-stars Heath Ledger from 10 Things I Hate About You. Rated R, and it's 165 minutes. And here's the tip looks like for the Patriot, pre-on the 39th week of 2000. And now I have two Philadelphia VHS tapes. I'll show you the old one first and then the new one. So the first tape I have is the 1994 VHS. So this is the 1994 VHS with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, from the director of The Silence of the Lambs. 1993 winner of 2 Academy Awards: Best Actor Tom Hanks, Best Original Song Streets of Philadelphia, and Bruce Springsteen. I got this VHS back for Christmas when I was 18 years old. An emotional powerhouse is Peter Trevor's Rolling Stone. A dazzling achievement, triumphant honor, rage, heartbreak, and astonishing humor, much infinitely memorable performances by Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington's Sky Flatly Cosmopolitan. Rated PG-13 is 125 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Philadelphia. From the third week of 1995, it is the 1994 VHS. And now for the 2000 release. It shows the same two actors on the front. And has the same critique on there. And that one too, so I'm not going to read it again. An emotional power, wait. Is it? Oh. It has the same critique on the back too. Rated PG is 125 minutes. And here's what the tape looks like for Philadelphia, and it's put on the 13th week of 2000, when he loves 1000 VHS. Alright. Next tape I have is a 1990 VHS of Revenge with Kevin Costner. A passion that cannot be denied, a betrayal that cannot be forgiven. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Kevin Costner has established himself as the screen's most compelling star since Bob Thomas Associated Press. Kevin Costner is from Field of Dreams and No Way Out. Madeline Stowe is from Stakeout and The Two Jakes. This movie is from the director of Top Gun, Billy Hill's Cop 2. And Anthony Quinn is the host, and we got and this movie co-stars Anthony Quinn from Lawrence of Arabia and Guns of Navarone. An instant classic mama spectacular in your face entertainment is Liz from Toronto Sun. It's based on a novel by Jim Harrison. Rated Orange, 123 minutes. So here's what the tape looks like for Revenge, and it's put on the 30th week of 1988. I wonder when. Hold on. Because I think I don't know when Kevin Costner's Revenge movie was released. So it's put on the 30th week of 1990. Since The movie Revenge was released in 1990 as well. And now for the 1994 VHS of Rudy. The Rocky of the 90s says Paul wanted to be on radio. I got this VHS from Goodwill. 2007, marvelous performance by Sean Austin, Susanna Asen, Siskel and Ebert. This movie is like rated PG, it's 112 minutes, so here's what it looks like for Rudy, and it's from the 32nd week of 1995. Even though it's a 1994 VHS. Next tape I have is the 2000 VHS. 2000 VHS of Silent Rage of Chuck Norris. Science created, now Chuck Norris must destroy him. From the AXN Action Movies collection. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. Oh, that was my computer. I have drivers and updates. So, I'm gonna have to exit out of that. Also co-starring Tony Khalid. Rated R, and it's 100 minutes. And here's what it looks like for Silent Rage. It was put on the 5th week of 2001. Even though it was a 1000 VHS. Next tape I have is 1996 VHS of Stripes of Bill Murray. I Want You for our U.S. Army. The story of a man who finds to keep the world safe for democracy and meet girls. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Also, this movie also stars Harold Ramis. Also co-starring Harold Ramis and Warren Oates. Radar, and it's 106 minutes. Here's a typical set for Stripes. It's got 2 week in Europe. It's the 18th week of 1997, the 32nd week of 1999, even though it's the 1996 VHS. Next tape I have, we got the 1999 VHS of Stuart Little, and the co-director of The Lion King. The Little family just got bigger. I got this VHS from Faith Farm. Wait. Let me try this again, cause there we go. A family adventure filled with excitement, fun, and one absolutely adorable mouse is George Pancio, ABC TV, and featuring the voice of Michael J. Fox, also starring Hugh Laurie and Gina Davis, and Jonathan Lipnicki. And it's also featuring the voice of Nathan Lane. Based on the book by E.B. Wright, rated PG, and it's 85 minutes. So here's what the tape looks like for Stuart Little. It's got 2 week in Europe codes. The 10th week of 1998 and the 10th week of 1999 and the 10th week of 2000, even though it's the 1999 VHS. Next tape I have, we got the 1996, wait, 1996 VHS of Toy Soldiers with Sean Astin, Will Wheaton, Keith Coogan, Andrew Divoff, Denholm Elliott, and Louis Gossett Jr. Misfits, Underachievers, and Rebels. Now years of bad behavior are about to pay off. I got this VHS from Goodwill. A Christmas pencil throws his Jan Miles in the New York Times. Better known as the Reject School. A gutsy throw a minute, go for an action voice is back on WWOR TV. Rated R 112 minutes. Here's what it looks like for Toy Soldiers. No weak in your code. Alright. Next tape I have. Next tape I have. 2000 VHS of Under Suspicion with Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman. Under Suspicion keeps you guessing right up to a wall-up of finish is Kevin Thomas, Los Angeles Times. And the World of Secrets, the truth is never what it seems. Also co-starring Thomas J. and Monica Bellucci. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Not to. There you go, that's the right way. Everyone has secrets, some of them are crimes. Based on the book Brainwash, written by John Brainwright. And rated R, it's 100% minutes. So here's what tape looks like for Under Suspicion. And it was printed on the 50th week of 2000. And now for the last tape I have for this part, which is the 1998 VHS of Wild Things with Kevin Bacon, Matilda, and Neve Campbell. They're dying to play with you. 2 thumbs up. A mixture of sex, suspense, comedy, and a twisted plots of Siskel and Ebert. I got this VHS from Goodwill. Neve Campbell as screams to Thelma Adams, New York Post. Rated R, 108 minutes. Here's what it looks like for Wild Things. And it's put on the 12th week of 1999. Even though it's a 1998 VHS. And anyway, that's gonna wrap up part 2 of my Columbia TriStar VHS collection 2020 edition. Stay tuned for part 3 of my Columbia TriStar VHS collection 2020 edition, at which I'm going to show you the Columbia TriStar wait, let me check. Okay. I already saw the Columbia TriStar production title. The kind of Columbia TriStar title on a clamshell. So stay tuned for part 3, of which I'm going to show you my Columbia TriStar family collection title. So stay tuned for that, won't you? This video is now adjourned.